Hi, this is for cross-cultural context at Wesley Seminary, looking at the issue of immigration. First question we're going to deal with is, has the church addressed immigration politically, or have they addressed it as more of a human need? Now, speaking from some experience with this as being an immigrant right now and being involved with some conversations, but not directly in the action of what the Wesleyan Church is doing. I know we're addressing it a lot more politically, but we are doing this politically as we see this is the best way to address the actual human needs. We see that it's not working for people, how they are coming into the country, and how it's pretty much been placed as a system where you can't come into the U.S. You either need to have an already arranged job, a very well-paying job at that, where your company will issue a work visa, or you need to have family already here. And even then, there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through, and even more money you need to pay. Money most people, that if they're bringing over their family, they don't have. And so it creates a horrible situation that leads to the illegal immigrants we have now, where people want to come to the U.S. to work, to have these opportunities, just like the rest of us, but they can't. So we are seeing that political action is being taken. Just this past week, a large group of evangelical pastors actually went and talked to the GOP and tried to get them to put forward a bill to reform immigration so that it can be made easier for people to come into the country legally, and for those that are already here under legal or illegal terms that are immigrants, that it'd be made easier for them to become citizens so that they can stay here without fear that their family would be separated and sent back to their country to even worse conditions. So this, if you're dealing with it politically, you will inevitably also be meeting a need. As far as just a need, though, I can't speak to that, as I've not met a lot of churches that have direct programs. I do know of a few where when they run into immigrants, they help them culturally adjust, showing them where to find stuff in the community, do language training, but it's very much one of those things you have to be in an area where it is directly an issue, and to substantially give a program, you need to have enough people where you can satisfiably meet a need. So is our response appropriate, though, to this? Probably not. This is a new need that we are being brought into. I think we are quickly figuring out the learning curve on this, and probably within a few years, the responses will start being appropriate, but in general, right now, I think we are more just figuring out what do we actually need to do in this situation. We're also asked the question, how can the North American church benefit from those coming from the southern churches as immigrants? Again, this is a very varied question because the southern churches encompass Central America, South America, Asia, and Africa. A variety of different people. But they tend to all have a general thing that if they're already Christian, their way of exhibiting faith we would describe as more Pentecostal, but it's really more exuberant. It's not so much that, hey, we're running and jumping up the aisles and speaking in tongues. They just have this faith where they literally do believe that God can move mountains if they pray for it, and they pray with such enthusiasm and greatness that things do happen. They're not laid down by these ideas that we've built into our culture that say faith can't do things. They genuinely believe and they genuinely act, and so they truly do see. So if we partnered with them, we'd get to recapture some ideas of our faith that have been lost by the noise of our culture. So working together, we could actually revive some of the deadness that has come into our North American churches, but at the same time, we can help them because we have a culture that they're now moving into that they know nothing about. So we can work together, that they can help us learn more about our faith from something that we have lost a little bit of, but we can also help them integrate into the society around them so that they can be a better influence around them. That's just some of my thoughts on these questions.